Japan has a reputation for having very little immigration from people from overseas. As the population ages, do you think you'll see more immigration over time?
Yeah. Super question. My interest in the emperor is all about ethnicity and the emperor as the ultimate main family of all of the Japanese people. Ethnicity, racism if you want, is powerful, and therefore, as you have suggested, Japan has been very resistant to let in immigrants. And Japanese, non-Japanese marriage producing kids, those kids in the ideology are non-Japanese because they have half non-Japanese blood. So it is a tough thing for them to do. Do I expect that to change? No, in fact. Do they need labor with the aging society? They do, but I think they'll go to the high value-added kinds of things, the research, that's their hope. They'll do the research and the high quality, high-end stuff, and let China continue to do the manufacturing and this sort of thing. I don't see much immigration coming in soon, but it is happening a little as Japanese are traveling around the world and marrying non-Japanese. So I'm not good at making predictions, but it won't happen soon, probably in my lifetime. Maybe in your lifetime. That's a good question. Sorry, I can't answer it.
I was wondering about the interaction between your family, the fact that I don't know how long your family lived in the village with you when you were doing your research, but the interaction between your family and the community members, what the long-term impact was for your children, your wife, as well as for the community members having your family living there.
That's another good question, and at some point he's going to interview them. And I asked my daughter, would you be willing to be interviewed? She said yes. What are your reactions about your years in Japan? She said, did I have a choice? I carry that responsibility with me. She loves Japan. She loves things Japanese. She was the one that was on the back of the woman we lived with. And those two had a very close relationship, even when my daughter, her first language being Japanese, but she lost all of that when she came back in college and med school and stuff. She came back to Japan when we were there. Those two had a special relationship that continued over those years. My wife also loved that family, but it was hard. The bath was 25 feet outside the house because you don't want the bath in the house because you build a fire to heat the water and you don't want the house burning down. The toilet was 25 feet away from the house, so in the winter, I want to say the snow was this high, but it wasn't. It was about this high. Walking out to the bath or to the toilet, that was hard. And she suffered a lot. And she reminds me of that.
I just want to say that was like a really good video because it's made me realize like how my grandparents are. But like, I guess my question is like, do you see like Japanese tradition disappearing? Because for my grandparents, that's how they think that the tradition is like Asian tradition is like disappearing. Like, I don't know if that's a good question or not. Like old tradition, like old Japanese tradition? No?
Want to do that? I just gave a talk at that other university in this state on Monday addressing that issue. And the argument is, on the surface, and the material things, they don't look a whole lot different than we do they? They've got virtually everything that we have. And car culture is not something that's alien to any of us. So it looks like us. But the decisions that they are making about the good life, the moral life, they're based on Japanese values, and I don't see much change in it. Cooperative patterns that I saw 1961-62 for transplanting when it was being done by hand were a neighborhood group of 10 households, or by kinship, that Gozo system. Cooperative patterns now are buying those $200,000 machines that can work a household's total land holding in 2 hours. Well, you don't want to spend $200,000 on a machine that you're going to use 2 hours a year. So the machines are being bought by cooperatives. On what basis are the cooperatives constituted? Surprise, surprise. Neighborhood and kinship. So those kinds of things are still there, even though on the surface it looks very different. I don't feel like I'm dealing with different kinds of people in 2009, I haven't been there this year, 2009 as against 1961. They're the same people that I knew then. They just get in their cars and go. And the first big flat screen TV set I saw outside the Sony headquarters was in that village. They have all that stuff. And last year I went and saw, you saw him in the film, Nasukawa Noboru-san. I saw him out in the fields. I said, "How are you?" And he said, "Fine." And he whips out his cell phone and he shows me the pictures of his grandkids. Wow, I'm right at home. I'm right at home. But his grandkids are living in his house. That family is going on and on and on. And I don't see families ending. And that's not Ames, Iowa.
Please join us in a round of applause for David Platt and Keith Brown.